I used to have high blood pressure, right? The highest measurement I ever seen, I don't remember the specific numbers, but the systolic number, which is the top number, which was in the 170s, and the bottom number, which is a diastolic number, was in the 100s, right? And then my pulse was like 90 something, or the heart rate or whatever. Since then, I've been able to reverse my high blood pressure, and I was able to do that by really focusing with some intensity on educating myself, right? I really thoroughly educated myself in this, and it was very important to me that I didn't have to just use medicine to do it. And the reason why is not necessarily that I'm anti-medicine, but I am anti-unnecessary shit. I knew people with high blood pressure growing up. They took medicine for it, and I never seen it fix them. So that wasn't the way I wanted to go about it. And so I went on to just educate myself on blood pressure, and I ended up discovering what's important for blood in general. So not just blood pressure, but the health of your blood in general. And when you approach it this way and you address the health of your blood in general, to have high blood pressure becomes impossible. To have high blood pressure becomes impossible once you address the health of your blood in general, like the quality of the blood in general. This is why I'm able to get, that's why I got the results I got, and why everybody who does what I say when I coach them gets the results that they get in a matter of weeks. No medicine, in a matter of weeks. I just had, right now I'm in the middle of doing, I'm in the middle of a program, right? We actually have our session a few hours after I get done with this class. So we're on our third session. Just after 2 sessions, she's gotten the lowest blood pressure reading. I mean, it's lower than my blood pressure be getting. No medicine. After following 2 sessions, one session a week, so 2 weeks of some change, and it was like 105 over 68 or something like that, with the heart rate pulse of 59. That's how powerful this information is. The thing is, your doctor has you focus on the pressure of the fluid, right? With the fluid being the blood. And to deal with the pressure of the fluid or the pressure of the blood, your doctor believes that you should take a medication that relaxes the heart. See, like right now, when your blood pressure is high, the heart is working harder to pump that blood out, and the pressure is higher, right? Make sure my mic is on. Okay. And the pressure is higher. And when you relax the heart, the pressure goes down. But when you understand the purpose of blood pressure and why it rises, why it may rise, you then begin to realize that maybe that's not the best way to go about it, assuming that you care about other aspects of your health. Now, if you're willing to compromise other aspects of your health just to get the blood pressure where it needs to be, and you don't care about the other aspects of your health and how you feel and how you think, then fine. Take the medication. I mean, even that's still not going to be as effective, but then fine. But if you do care about the other aspects of your health and you actually want to be able to have the blood pressure be normalized long term, there's a much better way to go about it. I don't focus on blood pressure. I focus on blood quality. When you fix the quality of the blood pressure has to normalize. It has to normalize. The only exceptions is if you just got done running full speed and then you take your blood pressure right then and there, right? Some type of specific acute experience will temporarily rise it, but long term, the blood pressure normalizes when you address the blood quality. So let me share this story to kind of help illustrate it. It was this rock band named Van Halen, I think Van Halen. I'm not sure. I didn't listen to him. I'm not necessarily a rock fan, but I thought this story was interesting when I read about it. So musicians, when they get booked for gigs and to do shows and things like that, they they send the promoter, like the contract, they have the rider on there, which shows their, lack of better words, their demands, if you will, right? Like the type of food they want, uh, the temperature they want it to be in their dressing room, um, you know, where they want to go afterwards, the how they need the stage to be set up, and there's other thing in it, but there's also parts that deal with safety to ensure their safety and the safety of the crowd. Like maybe the stage can only handle an X amount of weight, or something has to be set up this way to make sure nobody gets hurt, or maybe somebody has a health condition so they need something to be a certain way, right? So this rock group, they had a safety part in their contract where they addressed those things and said the way they needed things to be to ensure their safety and their audience's safety. And in the middle of that, in the middle of all the things that they have for those safety things that they request, they put in there that they to take out all of the brown M&Ms, right? So like another part of the contract where it says the stuff that they like, they say they like M&Ms. But in the safety part, they put take out all the brown M&Ms. So what happens is when they go to do a show, if they see that there's brown M&Ms, they cancel the show. And they cancel the show because if you left the brown, the way they say, if you left the brown M&Ms in there, that means you probably didn't do the other safety things that was listed in there, because it was listed in the safety part of the contract. And they didn't want to get hurt, and they didn't want their fans to get hurt. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Travis Scott, but they were, they didn't do everything that needed to be done to ensure the safety of everyone there. People died. And this rock band was trying to ensure that something like that didn't happen, even though this was way before Travis Scott. But that's why these things are important. So they figure if you didn't see the part where it said take out the brown M&Ms, then you either just didn't take this part seriously, you didn't look at it at all, or you skimmed over it. I can't trust that you provided a safe environment for us and our fans. So if they would have just simply say, "Oh, hold on, let me take the brown M&Ms out," that wouldn't fix anything, right? Because no, the real problem is the brown M&Ms. The real problem is the other things that you didn't do, that you likely didn't do. Your blood pressure is the brown M&Ms. It's the other parts of the blood. It's the other components of healthy blood. That is the real issue. Don't focus on the brown M&M. The doctor got you focused on the brown M&Ms. Okay? So what do we focus on? Like I said, blood quality. I'm going to show you the 4 pillars of healthy blood. Okay? I'm going to show you the 4 pillars of healthy blood. This part, you may want to start writing this down. Okay? Pillar number 1, flowability. How easy is it for your blood to flow through? Shouldn't be too thick, shouldn't be too thin. This deals with the blood viscosity. How much viscousness is in the blood. The blood is 80% water. Right? Blood is 80% water. And I've all my years of helping people with blood pressure, I've never met any of them who drank too much water. Some of them still might drink adequate water, but I never met one that drank too much water. Water is a natural blood thinner. Blood is 80% water. If you were to, so check it out. What makes the blood more thick? If you was to take some water and add a bunch of sugar to it and mix it up, the more sugar you add to it, eventually that water becomes what? A syrup. Blood's 80% water. You're consuming a bunch of sugar. The water becomes a syrup. Blood becomes syrupy. Not as easy to flow. Imagine syrup trying to flow through your veins. Do you think that makes it easier or harder? Do you think the heart will have to work harder to increase the blood pressure to get it to flow? Or do you think that makes it easier? Right? What else did I tell you about the sugar, right? Your body interprets refined carbohydrates, processed carbohydrates as sugar. The most immediate example of that, most common example of that is flour. Guess what? Blood is 80% water. If you was to take water and add flour and mix it up, it becomes what? A gravy. We just gave you the 2 main ingredients of gravy, water and flour. Imagine gravy trying to flow through your veins. Do you think that makes it easier or harder? But if you add more water to that syrup, if you add more water to that gravy, it gets thinner and thinner and thinner till it gets to the level it needs to be at so it can flow easily. And it's not just, I'm not going, all water is effective, can have an effect, but the consumption of water, there is strategic ways, not strategic ways, but there's types of water. It's different ways you can consume the water in different forms to make this process much more effective, right? So some of you need to really thin out the blood and thin it out fast. And just drinking regular old distilled water from Dasani may not cut it. It won't be as effective. Okay, but details and getting into those type of details, I'll go over that in the blood pressure blueprint program. Pillar number 1, flowability. And there's other ways. What I'm doing is I'm sharing the most potent way to deal with all of these pillars. There's other ways to deal with these pillars. Some of you may have to, it may be necessary for you to do one of the other alternative ways. I'm sharing the most common potent ways to deal with each of these pillars with the interest of time, because I don't want to hold y'all up forever. All right. Pillar number 2. So pillar number 1 is flowability. Pillar number 2, chemical balance. What chemicals are we talking about? The electrolytes and minerals, the amino acids, fatty acids, the sugar and the toxins, the dyes, all the different things that's in your food, the oxygen, the different toxins in there, like all of that has to deal with the chemical balance in your blood. Okay? All of that has to do with that. Now I'm going to teach you the most potent chemical balance, specifically dealing with blood pressure. And it's because of what's propagated, right? We have an anti-sodium propaganda, but we don't seem to have a potassium propaganda. And we would be better off with a potassium propaganda than we would an anti-sodium propaganda. Why? Because more people are potassium sensitive than they are sodium sensitive. Which is to say, if people were increasing the potassium, they would get better blood pressure results than just lowering the sodium. Now, of course, we want to do both because we want to get that ratio right. What's the ratio? Close to 2-1, a little bit less than 2-1. So for every 1 milligram of sodium, you want to have close to 2 milligrams of potassium. And that's just one of the ratios, because there's a lot. Okay? There's a lot. But I wanted to give you that one at least. Did your doctor tell you to improve your potassium, or did it tell you it's going to mess up your kidneys? So chemical balance. Number 3, deliverability. Very important. Very important. I don't want to say any of these pillars is more important than the other because all 4 of them have to be addressed. But this is like the whole point of the blood in your body, right? Blood is so important. Like, this is why the heart is so important. Like, I don't feel like there's enough importance stressed on that as far as establishing healthy blood. To have healthy blood is to have a healthy body. The blood circulates to the body and it touches all of your organs every 60 seconds. I can't think of anything that's more important than that. But it has to have deliverability, because as it's flowing through and going to the organs to deliver what it needs to deliver to the organs, right? To deliver the different nutrients to the organs and things like that. If the doors is locked, then it's of no consequence. And in many of you, the doors is locked, which is to say the vessels is too hardened, right? The endothelium, which is the inner vessel lining, is too hardened, it's locked. And the blood has things that have to deliver, and it has to be their own time. Like right now, it's December 15th, Christmas season coming up. Imagine Amazon that got to go deliver all these things, and you kept your door locked to a point where you can't even get to your apartment complex. And now it's after Christmas, and it's too late. It's like, damn, well, the whole point was to get here before Christmas to begin with. Y'all had to unlock your doors, and we had to make the vessels more flexible so that the blood could flow more freely. 4th pillar, messaging. We have flowability, chemical balance, deliverability. Those are the 3. The 4th pillar is messaging. Messaging, what are we talking about? I think this is the most powerful component of blood and where people truly underestimate it. And this was essential to my success and my health journey. How I was able to lose 60 pounds in 60 days. How I was able to reverse my high blood pressure within the same amount of time. Probably before that, but that's not. I didn't check it till 60 days later because I didn't expect it to happen this fast. After I realized I lost so much weight in such a small amount of time, let me check my blood pressure while I'm at it. Oh wow, it's pretty much normalized now. And I never took any medicine. And I didn't know what I was doing. About everything I'm teaching you now, I wasn't aware of necessarily through and through at the time. It just so happened I followed these principles ignorantly. Okay? I followed them ignorantly. It wasn't until I started helping other people where I wanted to learn how to do what I did on purpose in other people. And everything's different for everybody. So, doing exactly what I did step by step may not work for the next person, but I wanted to understand the underlying principles behind it. So messaging, very important. Why is it so important? Hormones and neurotransmitters flowing through the blood, those are like your instructions. It instructs your body what to do. It instructs you on how to feel. And how you feel inspires how you think and what you believe. And how you think and what you believe dictates your actions. And your actions dictate what you have and who you are. All starting from the blood. Now imagine your blood delivering a message that's unable to be accepted, or it has the wrong messages in there. Got you living out of order. You should be doing one thing, but you can't bring yourself to do it. Because the messaging in the bloodstream is compromised. Because the messaging in your bloodstream is compromised, this is why you can't stay disciplined. You can't stay consistent. You're consistent with the messaging in your bloodstream, and you don't even know what messages you're putting in there. You don't know what hormones and neurotransmitters that you are causing to be produced and inhibited, which is equal to causing emotions to be produced or inhibited within you, which is equal to causing certain actions to be produced or suppressed, all starting from the blood. That's the most powerful piece, in my opinion. Because if we put the right messaging in the blood and we address the deliverability pillar, so it can actually get delivered where it needs to get delivered, and we got the right chemical balance so it's not disrupting what's going on with the deliverability and it's flowing the way it needs to flow. All four pillars are addressed. We can address the discipline problem. We could make you who you need to be to get the results that you want to have. This is why I have not shut up about it in almost 9 years now. This information is powerful enough to fundamentally change who you are so you can fundamentally change what you have and how you affect other people around you. Literally change your life. No bullshit. And as I think about this, and as you're hearing me say this, perhaps you begin to wonder, is it that the medical industry really just doesn't know this stuff? Or do they have incentive to keep you in the dark on some of this stuff and only have you focus on the pressure as opposed to the quality? Have you focused on the brown M&Ms instead of making sure that the stage and all of that is set up right so nobody dies at the concert? I don't want to make any accusations. I don't know. I'll tell you what I do know. Let me share a story with you. This is a fact. This isn't a conspiracy theory. I'm about to show you. What I'm about to tell you. You can look the story up. The light bulbs. They used to say that like the light bulbs wasn't working because the technology hadn't caught up. But in reality, the light bulb was actually too good, and they would last almost 3,000 hours. Problem with that is, business can't make as much money. So some entities got together, like General Electric and Philips and them. They got together And they say, okay, we're gonna make it to where we're not dealing with light bulbs that last 1,000 hours. If it could last 1,000 hours or more, we're not dealing with it. And they find any manufacturers who were producing light bulbs that lasted more than 1,000 hours, so that they can make you a repeat customer. If they're willing to do that back in them times, in that industry, what makes any industry immune to that? And what makes these times immune to that? I mean, just look around you. I'm not an asset to the medical industry as far as getting money is concerned. They can't make money off of me. I don't need their products or services. Not as far as their subscription model is concerned. I don't need their products and services outside of getting a checkup here and there. If everybody in America was like me, the medical industry and the pharmaceutical industry won't be able to make money. It's getting them to be this version of you that you are right now. It's this version of you that they're able to make billions and billions of dollars a year. Does that mean that they're doing it on purpose? I'm not here to say that. That's for you to decide. I don't know. But I do know tough decisions need to be made. It was this mountain climber named Aron Ralston, right? He was out by himself, climbing mountains and shit. And a 800-pound boulder got on his arm. He's stuck with an eight. Imagine having an 800-pound boulder stuck on your right arm, crushing it, and you out there by yourself. No cell phone service. Out there in pain. And he's just laying there hoping that someone will come and save him. But his environment failed him, right? His environment got him in that situation, and he's hoping someone can come save him. After a while, he realized nobody was coming to save him. So he had to make a tough decision. And it's ironic because when you think of the etymology of the word decision and how it corresponds with the story. Real quick, what's the etymology of decision? Decision. D means from. Scission or size means to cut off. So to cut off from. That's different from a choice. Choice, you got options. Maybe I'll do this. Maybe I'll do that. A decision, no, I'm going to make it where it's impossible for this other scenario to even take place. So now I can only do this. Much more intense, much more strong, much more potent than a choice. So he made a decision. Because it wasn't a choice. He made a decision to cut off his right arm. And it wasn't the sharpest tool. He had a fairly dull tool. And it took him a while. But he had to cut off his arm. That's why I say it's ironic with decision, because he had to cut off something. But he had to lose a part of himself. He had to sacrifice a part of himself to save himself. Because he was out there for 127 hours. 5 days. Over 5 days. He had to make a sacrifice, cut off a part of himself to save himself. Many of you aren't willing to cut off the necessary part of yourself to save yourself. Oh, but that's my favorite food. But I can't have none of that. Oh, but that's my favorite show. Oh, but that's my favorite friend. We known each other for years. But I need that money for this instead of like. Come on now. Because we see the situation that we're in. And we've seen what that's gotten you. You want to stay in that situation? Do you believe that he regrets cutting his arm off to save himself? Or do you believe he's happy with that decision, given the circumstances that he was in, given his options? He got to live to tell the story and go see his family again. Instead of laying there dying a slow death anyway, in pain. Pain that he got used to, that he thinks ain't even pain anymore because he got so used to. Meaning y'all living in pain and don't even realize you're in pain because you done got used to the feeling. There was this, because we getting ready to close out. I did good on time. Uh, they had made the airplane, which is the B-17 airplane today. Some of the details of this escapes me, but essentially, when they went to go test the airplane or whatever, and it was a one pilot on there, and it was a lot of different things that you needed to do for that airplane, a whole lot of steps that you had to take, and it just had that one pilot on there, and he wasn't able to remember all the steps, and he was doing things wrong and out of order, and he ended up dying from not knowing how to operate that plane correctly. So what they did in response was they assembled a team and they created a checklist. And when they sent the next pilot out there, they operated as a team and they went through that checklist step by step by step by step by step. They had structure this time around, a program that they followed. And that plane ended up being successful and it won a war and everything else, and it's still around to this day. My blood pressure blueprint program is that checklist. Because I know I may have dropped a lot of information on you today. I tried to simplify it the best I could, and there's a whole lot more to teach you. But I have it in a way that's sequenced step by step by step so you can get to results like how I told you earlier, how I said for myself. The last time, well, it's not the last time now because I recently started doing classes again, but back in 2023 when I first did a class, the guy in there, same thing. A week later, he was able to get off blood pressure medicine from applying what I said. Because he had the step by step. He had the structure. So if you want to take advantage of the structure, what you need to do is send me an email that says blueprint in the subject. We'll hop on here just in case I need to answer any other questions for you. And we'll get you signed up and enrolled into the blood pressure blueprint program. So your options is you can take everything I taught you and go out there and fly the plane on your own and maybe you have success, maybe you won't, maybe you will, maybe you won't, or you can get the checklist in the blood pressure blueprint program, dramatically improve your odds of success. I know this helps somebody out there. Apply the information. I look forward to hearing from you either way. Send me your success. Tell me your biggest takeaway from this class, and I'll check you on the next one. Peace.